Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. James here, doing another POV photo walk. As you can see there, I got my GH1 paired up with a Helios 44-2, a really nice lens, and I've just adapted that to the camera with a very inexpensive dumb mount adapter. So decided to go for a little walk. There's a river close to my house, so decided to walk there one morning. We're in the autumn time now, or the fall as you would say in America, and the sunrise is a little bit later in the morning, so I was able to get out before the sun came up. So this is pre-sunrise, just fucking around with the aperturing at the front. About to take my first shot of the morning. So traffic coming in, probably thinking, what the hell is this guy doing on the side of the road taking pictures? Well, this is what we do as photographers. So now I'm going into this little bit of a wooded area, coming out to a pathway. I've shot this pathway a few times actually, and I've done this walk a few times before as well. So this morning I was just trying to look for little plants, flowers, stuff I can get close-ups of to really show off the characteristics of the Helios, which is the iconic bokeh you can get. So I do a lot of the close-ups of plants and stuff in this video, and I thought they come out quite nice, but there's a few more landscapey kind of images. Again, it's a 58mm, so you're talking nearly 120mm, so quite telephoto, so you're not going to get very wide shots with this lens, but you can get some nice interesting compressed kind of looks similar to this now, this pathway. So I got the foreground, the actual path in focus, and brought up the textures and the details in post. This is the subway that leads down to the river now, and with the GH1 there's no focus peaking, so really hard to tell whether things are in focus. So I took a few shots of the same composition there. Ended up going for black and white because it looked quite flat. Again, this is pre-sunrise, so no interest in sun kicking off here. So just taking a walk down to the subway, hoping there's no homeless people there or crackheads. Thankfully there was none. Always a good thing. I was going to try a shot here. I can't remember what it was, but decided not to go with it. I did take some photos of the end of the tunnel, like a frame within a frame, but again with a lack of focus peaking, the shots were out of focus. Noticed some raindrops hanging underneath this rail, so decided to take a few shots of this, trying to get it all in focus. Leaning back and forth. I love the shutter sound on the GH1 as well. It's quite satisfying. Maybe a little thing to others, but quite enjoy a good shutter click. Yeah, so there we go. Not the most exciting of shots, but there we go. Off I trot now. There's quite a lot of woodlands next to me and around me, but I'm trying to isolate leaves and plants and trying to create some background blur. I think I predominantly shot this wide open at f2 just to get that out of focus background. This wasn't the best shot, but the next one I was quite happy with, and you really notice how sharp the Helios is when you take some images, and the leaves, the textures of the leaves really pop with this lens. And this whole setup, I mean, if you're interested in doing some POVs yourself and you want something that's quite inexpensive, then definitely opt for a GH1 for £40 and you pick up a Helios lens for about 40 quid too. So you're talking about £80 for a really nice lens and a camera that can produce really nice stills. And I do quite enjoy the images from the GH1. Really nice organic colors you're getting. A very familiar sight to most that live in the UK. These huge pylons, like some type of War of the Worlds monster looming over the natural surroundings. Man-made shit in nature's little playground. Always a cool little photo to take. I think I've come across some, I don't know what half of these things are, but they were there. I took photos of them. Again, really showing off the f2 and the telephoto look, you know, compressed or out of focus backgrounds. I was hoping at this point that the sun would come out and make things a bit more interesting. And as the morning goes on, you can see the sun obviously looming over. I probably wasn't in the best place for it because I'm on the other side of the river, and on the other side there's a lot of trees blocking out a lot of that early morning sun. So, but enough sun does get through later on to kind of create some nice images. Trekking through now the woods, going a bit off the track, hoping I can come across something cool. A lot of nice greens and reds and oranges, but these woods were quite dark, and again the GH1 not very good for low light. I did do a couple of shots at 1600 ISO, but they were a bit too grainy. Just ducking down now. Under the branches, a lot of shit here from absolute arseholes just messing up the place. Definitely a lot of drugs being taken around by here, which is a shame. Notice this cool little tree, looked a bit gothic, had a lot of moss on it, and these really cool branches, just crooked branches sticking out, so I decided to take a picture of it. Yeah, it was okay. Not very interesting, but when the light's not there, you kind of look for detail and textures, and hopefully it makes for a good image. So yeah, GH1 is a really nice camera. You know, there are some things you do miss when you're spoilt with modern cameras, and you know, like focus peaking is definitely one of them, and IBIS, you know, I'm spoilt with IBIS now with the cameras I've got, such as the G9, the S5, the S1, GX85. You know, really good cameras that have IBIS. But it's good to every once in a while to bring out some of these older cameras and really test yourself and push yourself and see what you know results you can get. Some more plant close-ups going on here. Trying to work an angle here to kind of create a kind of a pleasing image. On reflection, I should have gone a bit higher. You'll see now with the image, I'm not too happy with the final composition here. I think the flower's a bit too low in the frame. It'd be nice to have had a bit more center. And try and work out the rest of the flowers in the background a bit differently. It looked a bit too, I don't know, a bit shit. But there we go. I really do enjoy these morning walks. I mean, you know, other than taking photos, you really just clear your head. Getting out and just taking images, relaxing, being in the moment, you know, not thinking about anything else, just getting the shot. Really is good for you mentally and physically. So I can see in the background the pylon wires going through the sky, and there's some branches creeping out. I decided to kind of darken the image so the sky is exposed properly, and then these dark, like fingers almost, reaching up to the sky. And you've got that nice blue pre-sun kind of color going on there, as you can see. So, look quite cool. Come up to the riverbank, which is quite open. There are some images I'm not showing you, and they just didn't turn out quite as I would want them to. There were some ducks and things, but it just looked really shit. Too far away, couldn't get a good angle. They're quite low down, so yeah. One fast little bastard there I couldn't get. And these two, yeah, I didn't show the picture because it just looked really, really shit. And then they eventually fucked off anyway, so too quick for me. But I decided to take an image of the pylons in the distance there. Always make for good images, these. You got the lines, you got the structure of the pylons, and again, surrounded by nature. There's always a nice blend of man-made shit meets nature. So, and they always look quite, you know, big and what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, big, like robotic structures. What the fuck I'm saying? It's late. Yeah, I noticed some tree, some really dead tree in the distance, and thought I could make it pop with a 58mm on the Micro Four Thirds sensor, but it just didn't work out. It looked a bit too busy, like in terms of the background compression. It just didn't really pop. There was too much going on in the background, so yeah, it didn't really pan out, but gotta try these out, you know. Let me know if you want me to put up my absolute shit photos. I just think they're too awful to put up, and yeah, maybe I should put them up and just show you. But I think I've got a standard of, right, I've got crap ones which I don't mind showing, but there's just really shit ones which just like don't work at all. So I'm walking along and I noticed some color, and decided to crouch down and get some of these flowers. And again, the aim was to find some really interesting looking flowers, and again create some images using that, you know, so you can really notice that iconic Helios 44-2 bokeh, and I think this is one of the photos which really does show that off. And again, a very cheap lens, very center sharp, and on the GH1 sensor looks really nice. Yeah, look at that, quite happy with that. Could see kind of a man-made little trail going through here, but thought it'd work as like a leading line into the distance, but again, it didn't really work out, to be honest. It just looked like just a lot of grass, a lot of green. Using the Peak Design strap with this. Love the Peak Design strap. I've got the Peak Design clips on most of my cameras now, so peace of mind when you're walking around. Albeit the GH1's not an expensive camera with the Helios, but still, you know, you don't want to drop your stuff, do you? So yeah, really cool design on that Peak Design strap. And of course, when you're finished with it, you could just put the camera away and wear the strap like a cool little wrist strap bracelet kind of thing. So 20 odd quid. I definitely recommend getting one. Okay, off into some more woods now. Using the Osmo Action as my POV cam. Debating upgrading Don't know what to do with that one. What do you guys think? Is it worth the upgrade? I mean, it's going to be shooting 10-bit on the Osmo Action 3. They've gone back to the Osmo Action 1 design. Not a big fan of that Osmo Action 2 design, to be honest. It looked a bit too flimsy and not much of an action cam, to be honest. Obviously going to get slightly better color science, 10-bit, better battery life. But one thing is actually almost sway me to get an Osmo Action 3 is the fact you can use the Osmo Action 3 as a webcam, and that does come in handy for some things which I do. So that's one feature which is almost pulling me towards the Osmo Action 3. But the Osmo Action 1, I've always been impressed with it. It looks great. Big fan of the DJI stuff, to be honest, at the minute, like with the action camera, the wireless microphones. You know, they're really kicking some ass, DJI. So, but yeah, but I think at the minute I'm happy with the DJI Osmo Action 1. Yeah, we'll see how we go. So I'm mainly messing with my shutter speed, to be honest. I'm leaving it on 200 when I'm out in the open in terms of ISO, and then I crank it up to about 400 when I'm inside, like the woods and it's a bit darker. But and staying open at f2, and then just really rocking the shutter. At some point I do change to shutter priority, because I thought, well, you're only messing with the shutter, so why mess around? So just let the camera do it. Yeah, notice this tree kind of backlit. The light was hitting the side of the tree, and I kind of like the look of the gradient of light that was wrapping around the tree. And I thought maybe I could boost it in post, but yeah, it doesn't really work. Doesn't really work, to be honest. Now the sun is coming up, and we can start seeing some specks of light hitting things, and that was kind of in the forefront of my mind now, was to try and find some interesting things or light hitting things and seeing if we can make some good images. And as you can see, there's some trees up ahead now. Here we go. So notice the light hitting the trees here. I thought I'd get a nice snapshot of that. Again, just picking up on textures and detail. It still surprises me how sharp this lens is. It's crazy sharp. For the price, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, that didn't work out. I mean, this almost looked pretty cool on the action cam, this kind of composition here with the sun coming through behind the trees, but just on camera it just looked really shit. So yeah, let's move on. You can see the sun coming through now and hitting the leaves. This photo was okay. It wasn't too bad, but the next one turned out quite nice. There was a bit of water hanging off one of the leaves, and with the sun hitting it, it looked quite nice. So I think it's this one, if I'm not mistaken. Just trying to work the shot. You see now the sun is really coming through. So chance to make things look really nice. Take the shot with you. Yeah, there we go. They're quite nice with the sun coming through, hitting the leaves. Quite happy with that one. So yeah, I decided to call it a day pretty much after here. I think I got a couple of shots, but they weren't the best. So decided that was it. Had enough. Decided to go home. But no, I had quite a lot of fun shooting, and I think I got some good pictures. I got the kind of pictures I wanted to get with the camera and the lens setup, so I was quite happy with the overall shoot. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. That's it from me. Until next time, goodbye.